I've been playing Rainbow Six Siege since the first beta, and genuinely want this game to succeed. However, the game is currently in one of the worst states I've seen since launch, and I know that I'm not alone in this sentiment. At this point, I'm more worried about Ubisoft killing Rainbow Six than I am about it being killed by another game. This is in part because of the Season Pass. Allow me to explain why. Ubisoft committing themselves to releasing 8 operators a year is only hurting themselves and the competitive scene. It has been said multiple times that Ubisoft wants the game to have 100 or more operators, and that's great. But how do they expect to balance 100 operators when they struggle to balance 46 with the current system? I'm all for adding more operators to the game. However, a shift away from the current Season Pass model would allow the developers to take the time needed to provide operators, maps, and reworks the attention that they deserve for the amount of time that is needed to make them great. I would like to quote an interview from an article released on March 27th of last year, where Remy, the Rainbow Six brand director, says, "One absolute belief I've had when it comes to developing the game and making it grow is the notion of building trust. And that comes with the passage of time. It takes time to build trust, and it is the most essential aspect when you're working with anyone, whether that's co-workers or a game's audience. This is something that I absolutely commend. It's important for a game's community to trust the developer. However, releasing content when it isn't ready does not build trust. It hinders it. When you want to build trust with your community, it's important to release good content when it's ready, and not to put yourself in a position where you have to release it. I don't think I'm alone in saying that having an operator like Lion in the game for over a year now in its current state has decreased the level of trust the community feels towards Ubisoft Montreal. Some of you might be saying, but Albatross, the game needs new content to stay fresh and keep people interested. You are correct. A game like Siege needs new, good content to stay alive and keep people interested. If you think we need 8 characters a year in order for the game to stay relevant, allow me to make a comparison. Overwatch has been out for 3 years. Blizzard in that time has released 8 characters. Overwatch is still doing quite well for itself. Blizzard does not release stats for their games, but the health of the game's community can be gauged by its viewership on Twitch. In the last 3 months as of making of this video, Twitch viewership of Overwatch has averaged almost 34,000 people at any one given time. If we don't get 8 operators a year, Siege will do perfectly fine. The TTS is an amazing resource. It should be utilized more by Ubisoft to accumulate data and for players to give feedback. Characters should be on the TTS as long as they need to be, not forced out when they clearly need tweaking. A move away from the Season Pass format means that when content is broken, it can be taken out of the game. For example, when something is too good or not fun to play with or against in Fortnite, it gets taken out of the game and put into the vault. It can be put back in the game at a later date when it is reworked. As opposed to having to deal with pre-nerfed Ela for 5 months, and Lion for over a year in his current state before anything meaningful is done, an operator could be simply removed from the game until they do not adversely affect gameplay. This retroactive mentality is important for keeping players interested and fostering a healthy competitive scene. I never thought I would say this, but Ubisoft learned from Fortnite. It's worth pointing out that I think Ubisoft is starting to clue in to some of the issues that the Season Pass format creates. In the last year, we've seen the usual 4 maps per season reduced to 2, and in year 4, reduced to 1 in favor of additional map reworks. Improving current content that needs it instead of releasing new content is important for the longevity of the game. The same approach could be taken to operators that are currently in the game. Instead of being bound to release new content, operators that are too strong or too weak can be assessed and reworked, then released back into the game when they have been thoroughly tested and are ready. You might be asking now, so you made your argument, but what would they replace it with? I don't think it's unreasonable for Ubisoft to need regular revenue in order to develop the game. However, I think the game would be better served if we moved away from having a Season Pass, but instead went to a Battle Pass. Ubisoft could make just as much money, if not more, focusing on cosmetics and implementing a Battle Pass system in place of the current Season Pass model. A great example of a new avenue Ubisoft could take in making cosmetics for the game was pointed out by Bikini Body a few days ago on Twitter. If we went down this route, theme barricades are only the beginning. And before you say they might not have the resources to make that many cosmetics, their art team just spent God knows how long revamping Plane to be used for a week. They have the manpower. You know it. I know it. Mr. Bear knows it. Thank you for your time.